Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Wednesday's edition of the Breakfast Burrito. I am DJ Yoakley, and alongside me, making his triumphant return, it is Mr. Thomas Pease. Tommy, how you doing, brother?
Good morning, DJ. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you? I mean, your absence yesterday threw everybody off. The squeaky Bandito couldn't get on until halfway through the show. I mean, you carry us, man.
Oh, man, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to be back. Just a busy day yesterday. Wasn't able to hop on the burrito, but I did listen in, and then Squeaky came in there halfway through or so, and you guys had some pretty intriguing conversations, which is, as we know, anytime the Bandito is on the burrito, it's going to be a special day. So, great show yesterday.
Thank you.
Pulled a Colin Coward for 30 minutes. You did, so you did good. You did good.
I tried my best, but the Bandito cleaned it up. I mean, it was kind of ugly for a while there, and then the Bandito comes in, starts speaking Spanish, and everything kind of magically turns around. So, hats off to him for obviously his appearance. But man, it was a deep show. It was a deep show, and it was one of the ones where, with social media, we talked about it. I was excited to kind of joust with you. I think we have the same views on it for the most part, but I think it's one of those things. But let's get started. We got some local scores to catch you up on. And last night, we'll just take you around the valley. Poland 86-68 over LeBray. The South Range Raiders finished their season, regular season, 21-1, 63-56 over the Salem Quakers. It was the East Palestine Bulldogs triumphant over Lordstown, 78-47. The Latonia Bears just absolutely finished their season on a strong note, 78-43. We had the call on YSN last night, courtesy of Tyler Hoffman. It was the champion, Golden Flashes, 72-48 over Niles. It was Brookfield, 75-71 in overtime over Pymatuming Valley. The Sebring Trojans followed at Campbell Memorial, 66-63. McDonald actually falls to Struthers. So Struthers able to capitalize. They're a good team over there towards Youngstown. 61-52 the final in that one. McDonald falls to the Wildcats. Warren Harding 62-55 over Boardman. And it was, let's see here, Springfield 47 falling to Girard 55-47. And then in the game that we had last night, the Columbiana Clippers falling to the West Branch Warriors, 82-51 in the Clipper Dome. And that one, like I was telling you a little bit before the podcast started, the Clippers started out on a 6-0 run, and there was a timeout taken, and they were absolutely just blown out. And it's not something you want to see, but the Warriors it seemed like they had enough, and there was just no answers for the Clippers last night. So they take one on the chin after a couple huge wins earlier, last week and the week prior to that. So they're going to be facing off against the East Palestine Bulldogs in East Palestine next week. So it'll be interesting to see how the Clippers can rebound there, and if the Bulldogs are just too much athleticism for Columbiana. So we'll have a chance to talk to Coach Johnson. So keep your eye out for that, and we'll talk to him about obviously the West Branch game and the matchup at hand against the Bulldogs. The last game last night, the final was 73-62, the Malvern Hornets over the Lisbon Blue Devils, and that concludes our coverage, man. So we're wrapping up that season, and I'm just chomping at the bit to get here and ready for the state playoffs. I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be a fun one. I mean, we talked about March Madness a little bit on Monday. This is kind of shaping up to be a really good playoff. I mean, some of these matchups are really intriguing, so it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, and the girls playoff starts tonight, right?
They do. So round one starts tonight, and then obviously on Saturday we'll get round two. So I think Anthony told me Wednesdays and Saturdays are the girls' games, and then I think it's going to be Tuesdays and Fridays per the usual for the boys moving forward. So going to be exciting stuff, man. A lot of great talent here locally. We try to feature it all throughout the season, but we all know when it comes down to it, it's all about championships, and this is where you win them.
Who's your local pick to make the deepest run into the state playoffs in boys varsity basketball?
You know what? I really like I really like South Range. I know I sound very homerish. I really like the way they play. I like the way they're coached. I like their adjustments. I also like LeBray a lot. They proved a lot, and they're obviously ranked very high in the state. LeBray can probably mess up a lot of people's, especially out west.
LeBray and South Range, are they in the same division?
They are, and
could they meet again?
They could, and it'll be in Canton, I believe. It'll be at the Canton Fieldhouse if that happens. And man, I love that. I love that gym. I love it. I think it's a fantastic atmosphere. There's
been a lot of special games in that gym.
Oh yeah, and I thought Salem was the best until I had a chance to go to Canton, and I really love Canton. Salem's got its own stories to tell. LeBron James being there, but yeah, Canton. There's nothing like the Canton Fieldhouse. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think Range and LeBray make the deepest runs, but I think there's some surprises along the way. I think that East Liverpool can serve as one of the biggest surprises. I really do. And I also think Wellsville could serve up some upsets. They're athletic. I don't count out a team like Columbiana because they have, if they're shooting well, I really think that they could really turn some heads. I mean, Jared Wilson put on a clinic last night. I think he scored 8 straight points at one point for the Clippers, just trying to get him back into it, behind the back passes, making adjustments in middle of the air. It was impressive. What says you?
Yeah, I mean, I got to be with you. I haven't seen South Range play except the LeBray game that I watched on Facebook Live. I think you got to love South Range. One loss this season to a highly ranked LeBray team, and if they can overcome that defeat when they do face LeBray again, they could make a very deep run. When would they match up? Do you know? 16, 32. I mean,
I think it's 32.
32.
I think it is. I mean, I'd have to get to Anthony Hartwig is it's the heartbeat of South Range, and he would be able to tell that. So maybe we'll have him on the show. Probably, it wouldn't be bad to have him on the show maybe Friday or early next week to talk about bracketology. We definitely want to talk to him about the girls bracket because he brings a lot of insight to it. But I think having him on and talking about the matchups and things of that nature, he'll be able to line it up. But yeah, no matter when they meet, man, it is going to be interesting. It's going to be.
I'll definitely, as long as the Potters aren't playing still, I'll definitely have to come and watch the South Range LeBray part 2 for sure. Because
it's
if you can get to the Sweet 16, I mean, that's a major accomplishment.
Oh yeah, I mean the thing that impresses me most about the South Range Raiders, and I am fairly close to that program, is the fact that they're all coachable, and the adjustments that they make at halftime, the adjustments they make between quarters, not only keeps them in games, but allows them to win. There's only one game that they didn't win this season. It was against LeBray. There's other teams that saw that tape and thought they had South Range picked, thought they had them done. And, you look at the Ursulines, the Liberties, the Valley Christians. I mean, some of these teams that are very, very athletic thought they could read the blueprint of LeBray, and LeBray barely skirted by. It took them overtime. And they had a fairly significant lead, and South Range able to battle back, take it to overtime, a couple calls that, don't go their way, and, who knows what happens. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. And yeah, if there's another matchup, let's make a point to make sure we head down there.
I'm all in.
All in. All right, buddy. There's not a whole lot to talk about other than the Olympics, and we're going to dodge that like the plague because I feel like it's constantly everywhere you look, it's the Olympics because there's 37,000 NBC affiliates on DirecTV apparently. So hey, let's have some fun. Let's talk about Major League Baseball. I mean, doesn't that just make you just feel better? Right off the jump, the pop of the mitt, the smell of the fresh cut grass, the heat, on your T-shirt. I get excited. And a day like yesterday when it was 70 some degrees outside.
Oh, it was beautiful.
You can't help but get excited about some baseball. So let's talk Major League Baseball, and let's start with kind of your expectations. Let's just have a blanket statement from each of us about how we think the season's going to go, who we think are going to be the standouts, and then we'll go division by division, league by league. I'll let you have the floor, Mr. Pease.
Oh, wow. You're putting me on the spot here.
Yeah, I don't want to put you on the spot. If you don't want it, give it back.
Well, no, I mean, for me, Major League Baseball is all about pitching. The teams who can put together the best rotation pitching-wise, usually by the end of the year, they come to the forefront. We talked on the pre-show there about Madison Bumgarner and in the San Francisco Giants and him coming back healthy. Like you said, it's a 15 game upswing for the Giants, and that's if Bumgarner is just a little above average. If he's really good, he can get another 20 wins for the San Francisco Giants. So Major League Baseball is, everybody loves home runs, everybody loves offense. It's exciting when you're at the game, but at the end of the day, when this season's over, you're going to look and find that the team who put the best pitching rotation on the mound day in and day out through the lengthy 162 game schedule, that's going to be the team that you're going to see come to the forefront, and that's MLB baseball. Okay,
so point blank, who is the best team in baseball in your eyes in 2018?
It's got to be the Houston Astros again. I think that top to bottom, they have the best pitching rotation, and they have three guys. Keuchel was dominant. We know what Verlander can do, and we know what Cole can do. If those three guys can put it together and just be good, not great, just be good, right there, you're looking at 65 wins for the Houston Astros. So for me, name-wise and talent-wise, I think the Astros gotta be the top dog when it comes to pitching. And if I'm sticking to what I said, just a few minutes ago, pitching wins ball games, pitching wins championships in the MLB. And I mean, last year you seen the Dodgers. Pitching is what got them there. Of course, they had some heavy hits on the offensive side of the ball too, but for me, it's the Houston Astros.
Okay. And the worst team in 2018 will be?
Oh man, I don't want to say the Pirates, do I? You don't want to say that.
You can say whatever you want, man. Just be able to back it up whenever they win the World Series. Just saying.
Oh my goodness. Let me think here. Let me go deep into my thoughts. So
think about somebody who lost a very, 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 very key part of their team to a pretty big empire. That's what I'm thinking.
So you're thinking that the Miami Marlins?
I'm thinking the Marlins have 100 losses easily.
Yeah, I mean it's got to be the Marlins. It's got to be, you got to put Detroit in there.
Padres,
the Royals aren't going to be any good. The Padres, they're definitely in the bottom five. The White Sox aren't any good. A lot of people sleeping on the Orioles. I'm not too down on the Orioles.
Good call on the Royals, and I didn't even think about them. And Anthony Hartwig's going to have a heart attack. But I mean, I'm with you. I don't think the Royals have a whole lot to hang their hat on. And according to this Bleacher Report, they're supposed to finish 59 and 103. So that's 21 game drop off from 2017. And you called it, man. I completely left them off my radar.
Yeah, there's not a lot of talent. I mean, of course there's talent on the roster. I take that back. I mean, they're Major League Baseball players, but there's not a lot of supreme talent on their roster. And when you turn that around and put a below average starting rotation and a pretty weak bullpen with that, you're gonna lose a lot of games. So yeah, I'm the Royals for sure, but I think that it's the Royals or the Tigers for me. You're gonna end up with the worst record in Major League Baseball. The Marlins definitely not far behind though, so that's a good call there. And the Padres, those four teams.
Okay, so let's break it down. All right, I'll tell you my team to beat, and then best team and worst team that I think in the Major League Baseball in 2018.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the, and I'm not like a Yankee hater, but man, they just made so many moves, I know pitching will beat hitting, but man, if hitting's that good, and you can't pitch around them, I think the Yankees are going to be your best team in baseball in 2018. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win the championship or win the World Series, but I think they will be the best team across the board. I think their pitching's there. I think their hitting is. I mean, you can't walk any of them, or you're looking at a 2-run shot at least.
Yeah, I think offensively the Yankees are going to be, top 3 teams in the major leagues. I'm not too sold on their pitching staff. I don't see anything that, I mean, Sabathia's, how old is CC Sabathia? My God.
I believe he's just a shade younger than Father Time himself.
Yeah. So, I mean, CC Sabathia is going to be like 3rd or 4th in that rotation. I mean, Sonny Gray's good at times. I mean, we've seen Tanaka be great, but
they're going to make moves. That's the biggest thing. If they can't do it, they have, not that they have the farm system anymore, but they've got the ability to give up a little bit to get a lot back. And their window is now. I mean, it really is. And the other team that I was debating on saying is going to be the best team in baseball is always seemingly there until playoffs, and it's the Washington Nationals. I really believe the Nationals have to win now, or else, Bryce Harper, Daniel Murphy, Gio Gonzalez, all headed for free agency next winter. If you don't win now, when the hell are you going to win? Because those guys, at least 2 of them are gone. I mean, Bryce Harper is going to go for a big paycheck. He's probably going to join, LeBron style or Kevin Durant style. He's going to join a big team with some big names because he's going to be chasing rings. And
he's going to make so much money.
Oh yeah,
so much money.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I'm not sure. Well, imagine that outfield with Stanton, Harper, and Judge. Just.
Oh, you're right. Listen, the Nationals is a really strong pick to be there at the end of the year because of what you just said with it's Harper, Murphy, and Gio all in contract years. So that those guys are coming out this year, and baseball's a team game, but at the same time these guys are playing for their livelihood. So therefore they are going to give maybe a little extra effort this year because they know at the end of the year that there's a lot of dollars heading their way and a lot of zeros behind, those dollars. So could be an interesting year for the Nationals, and you got to love their pitching rotation when you got Scherzer and Strasburg at the top, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, that's huge.
Crazy. That's
huge. And here's my other thing. It's going to be Pirate style if they're not there. If they're not one of the best teams in baseball, burn the ships, right? They're going to light this thing on fire sale in July, because they need to build for the years to come. I am probably, and I'm no baseball, expert, and when it comes to numbers and what's happening, and we're just fans, really. But I'm 85% sure Bryce Harper does not sign with Washington next year. I just don't think it happens. I think he'll
be the highest paid player in Major League Baseball history.
Yeah, and he's going to go to a place where they can win. I think he's going to play it smart. I think that's because I think he's got the sponsorship dollars. I think he's got he's got the brand around him.
He's got so much. Bryce Harper has so much swag. It's ridiculous.
And he's
got
evolved.
So much swag.
He's evolved, and I know that people are going to point out, no, he's a punk. He's the guy that throws helmets at pitchers, and he's a baby. But let's be honest. I mean, the guy he's the best for baseball. He really is. And you look at it, especially he's an American. He's a guy that kids model their game after. They want to be like Bryce the Andrew McCutchen should have been had there been more opportunity for Kutch, and he kept his game up. So, and kept his dreads. I'm a firm believer those dreads were superpowers. So, but I mean, yeah, I think the Nationals, I think they're going to be one of the best teams in baseball, if not the best team in baseball. And if they're not, you're going to see a lot of moves. Obviously, Murphy's going to be a trade piece in July if they're not on top. Gio is going to be a big trade piece. I mean, a left-handed stud heading into the second half of the season. I mean, a lot of teams are going to want that. And then if Bryce Harper's on the block, look out. Absolutely look out. Can you imagine what you'd have to? Yeah. What's the haul for Bryce Harper?
You mean like what do you mean by what's the haul?
What are you going to have to give up to get a Bryce Harper?
I mean, the farm. You got to give up the farm. He's a 25-year-old phenom who at any point in time could be the face of the franchise at any Major League Baseball team. So, I mean, you got to pay. You got to pay. You're going to pay handsomely to land Bryce Harper. Here's the thing too. He is dialed in this year because, of course, the media, they all want to talk about him being in a contract year and all the money he's going to make. And I seen an interview with him in spring training. They asked him about his contract and the money and what's his plans for after the year. And he said, ask Scott, which is Scott Boras, his agent. He said, ask Scott. And because I'm focused on right now. So that tells me this kid, he's going to get it done this year.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, I don't think anybody's a fan of Scott Boras. I know I'm not. I know that he completely butchered up the Garrett Cole situation, and he's been he hates the Pirates. I mean, that's just fact. I've read that everywhere from beat reporters, from people who are just around him. He's got nothing good to say about the Pirates because the Pirates don't have money. But when it comes down to getting his clients paid and making sure he gets that 20% or whatever it is as an agent, the dude's one of the best in the business, and that's huge. So he's going to get paid. Bryce is going to get paid. Here's the problem. I hope it's somewhere where he's got a chance to win, because there's nobody more clutch and more must-see TV than Bryce Harper. I mean, he's one of those guys, if you're listening to a ball game on the radio and you hear his name come over the announcer, from the announcer, you turn your radio up just a couple clicks, because you just never know what he's going to do.
I think that Harper's really good for baseball. He is my favorite MLB baseball player. The only other guy that I'd put behind him is Trout. And if Trout had that, I guess, mentality or swagger or attitude that Bryce Harper brings to the game, Trout would be above him, and because I think Trout is a more complete player than what Harper is. But those two guys, I mean, they're both super fun. They're super talented. They've actually, I mean, the way they swing the baseball bat, they've changed the game. They really have.
That, and you hit the nail on the head. There's a lot of great ball players that missed a lot of action last year that allowed the Astros to do what they did, to make that run. No, I'm not taking away anything from the Astros, but you're in a division with Mike Trout. He goes down to an injury. You seemingly saw him every week if you watched any of the Philadelphia Eagles games. So Mike Trout's my guy to watch this year. I think Trout comes back in a big, big way. And
how many games did Trout miss last year? Do you know?
Not off the top of my head. Let me look that up real quick. Mike Trout, but I mean, it was enough to really spike the Angels. You know what I mean? It was one of those things where.
Okay, so he missed. I got it here. He missed 48 games last year. Okay,
so a quarter of the
season.
Trout did.
Quarter of the season. All right, still batted .306. All right, still drove in 72 runs. And here's one thing that he does that Harper don't do: 22 stolen bases.
Yep.
So,
in a complete UCL tear in his left thumb. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
He's hitting basically without his thumb in his left hand. He's a right-handed hitter. And that's where, I mean, put your hands like you're holding a bat. Imagine not having your thumb and being able to turn it, or every time you turn it, it hurts. I mean, that's tough. I mean, the the steals were going to be there, but you got to get on base to get steals, and being out 6 to 8 weeks or whatever, 40 some games. And he's not exactly like a ham and egger. You know what I mean? He's a guy he's the face of your franchise. He's the face of the league. He and, like you said, he and Bryce Harper. If you lose one of those guys, you're talking probably. I mean, do you know what his wins above replacement were by chance?
No, I do not.
I mean, that's a number that is going to be the tell-all, because Trout he's their guy. I mean, it's just the same as, if Kutch goes down, it's tough in a Pirate uniform, that for that matter. It's tough to respond when Marte, gets suspended for 80 games. It's tough to respond to that, because you build your franchise around these players, and that's just how it goes. But hey, all right.
Trout was on track last year to have his best, would have had his best season ever if he doesn't get injured.
And by the way, though, that includes MVP seasons.
Correct.
So take that for what it's worth, right?
Right.
All right. So here are, according to BleacherReport.com, these are the predictions for 2018, projecting the final standings. So I'm going to read these off. You tell me if there's any discrepancy along the way. If you agree with it, thumbs up. If you disagree with it, thumbs down. You ready?
So, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Starting in the AL East. The New York Yankees are supposed to finish with a 95-67 record. That's 4 wins better than they did last year. They will be followed by the Boston Red Sox with 90 wins, the Toronto Blue Jays with 82 wins, the Rays with 71 wins, and the Baltimore Orioles with 70 wins. Do you agree or disagree with that AL East final standings?
I agree.
Okay.
I think that's right. There's no huge jump there. I mean, how many wins did the Rays getting, they say?
71 wins for the Rays.
71. So that's the biggest drop in the East. They won 80 games last year, so they're predicting a 9-game deficit from last year. I mean, if New York does not run away with that division after all the money they spent and the offense that they have, I mean, it'll be a crime. But yeah, I like that. That sounds about right.
The AL Central, the Cleveland Indians are supposed to have a record of 103-59. That's 1 win better than they had last year, which was the best record in the AL. They are followed by the Minnesota Twins at 86 wins, the Chicago White Sox with 73 wins, the Tigers with 61 wins, and the Royals are supposed to be the worst team in baseball with 59 wins. That's a 21-game discrepancy from last year. True? I mean, good, bad, indifferent? I mean, like, thumbs up, thumbs down?
I agree. Indians should run away with that division.
Are you
Absolutely.
At all concerned?
I mean, think about this. The Royals, the White Sox, the Tigers, they're in the bottom 5 in the major leagues.
Yep.
So Minnesota, truly the only team in that division who's not in the bottom 5 other than the Cleveland Indians. So yeah, that should be, once again, that should be a runaway division for the Indians.
They've got the White Sox at 73-89, 6 games better than they were last year. I think that the White Sox will be better than that. I really do. I think the White Sox they're still a few years away from what they're going to be with getting so much from all those trades last year. But I think the White Sox are going to be, I can see the White Sox potentially being an 80-win team this year. And that's not awful considering what they have to do with the youth development that they're going to have to kind of work with over the next few years. So I can see that. I can see that +6 going up to a +10 or a +12.
Yeah, they could be the surprise of that division for sure.
I think they could. I mean, they can do what the Twins did last year. I don't think anybody counted the Twins in, and I think the White Sox can do the same thing. I think it'll be a fight for second place. The Indians run away with that and possibly win the World Series with the last season with Chief Wahoo. But we'll see. All right, the West. This is where it gets interesting. The Houston Astros are supposed to win 103 games, same as the Cleveland Indians. That's a 2-game boost from last year, followed by the Angels with 88 wins, the Rangers with 78 wins, The Mariners with 75, and the Athletics with 72. The only team, well, I guess the only two teams to push their number up from last year, the Astros with a +2, and the Angels with a +8. So they're saying basically that if Mike Trout is healthy the entire year, he's only worth about 8 extra wins this year. Thumbs up, thumbs down on this standing projection.
I agree. I think the Astros are definitely the elite team in that division. And then Mike Trout, yeah, he's worth, if he missed 42 games last year, he's definitely worth 8 more wins for the Angels. So I could see the Angels making a run at the wild card, and the Astros are going to be your division leader. There's no doubt about that, barring injury issues.
You ready for this? Here is the projection of all projections. The Angels make a run for the wild card, make huge trades at the deadline, and are in the ALCS. I'm calling.
Wow.
I'm calling, and because we talked about Gio Gonzalez, we talked about guys. I think that the Washington Nationals are going to be sellers at the deadline. I do. I think something's going to happen. Whether it's
not if they're contenders.
No, what I'm saying is there could be an injury to somebody. Whether it's a Murphy, I mean he's injury prone.
Right.
Whether it's just good baseball on the other side, and the Nationals have a firm target on their chest and on their back, and I think that when you don't want these guys to be in your division, you don't want them in your league necessarily. And I think the Angels can give up a little bit and get them far enough away from the NL East, basically as far away as you possibly can without putting them in Hawaii, that Gio Gonzalez could be an Angel. I potentially could see Murphy being an Angel, and not that they're going to trade all 3 of them, but one of those 3 I think ends up with, if the Angels are still in contention. Can you imagine Bryce Harper and Mike Trout on the Angels?
Well, to excuse me, to compete with the Indians bomb squad, that's maybe something that's going to have to hapen.
And the Yankees, and I mean, you think about that.
The Yankees bomb squad. That's what I meant to say. The Yankees bomb squad, not the Indians.
Nonetheless, too. I mean, the Indians are going to put up some runs, but they're going to be backed by their pitching. But imagine if the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim are at the break, can make some moves, and all of a sudden they invite, they get a Bryce Harper or Daniel Murphy to come over. I mean, that's huge. That's a big move. So that's what I'm anticipating. I think the Angels are going to be the team that are big buyers at the deadline this year. So, but I agree with you. I think that's a pretty good summary of what's going to happen. The Astros are going to win it just because they're pitching alone, and their offense is pretty decent. But they're young as well. I mean, we're going to look back in 5 years and say, can you believe that these guys were on the same team?
It would be fun for sure.
All right, to the National League. The NL East says Washington Nationals, the best record in baseball, projected 104-58. That's a 7-game increase from last year. They're going to be followed by the Mets with 80-82 record, the Braves, the Phillies, and the Marlins. The Marlins they're anticipating a 62-100 record, completely even. That's a 15-game slide. The Phillies 73-89, the Braves 74-88, and the Mets 80-82. Again, the Nationals.
So they're calling a big increase for the Mets, big 10-game increase. Wonder where they're drawing that from. What's their reasoning behind that?
You remember how many injuries the Mets had in their rotation last year? I mean, just alone you had was it DeGrom, or who was
DeGrom,
it?
Yeah.
Syndergaard. I mean, you think about some of the injuries that they had to overcome and the time they missed. The Mets still have, if they put it together, they still have one of the best rotations in baseball. Thor. I mean, you think about all the studs that they have at the top that can potentially be number ones elsewhere, and they've got to be saddled with a number 2. I mean, I think that's where the 10 games comes in, and I don't think they significantly added. As a matter of fact, I don't think that they did much at all to their offense. Didn't they lose Neil Walker?
They did lose Neil Walker. Yep.
Where is he now?
He is, hold on, I'll tell you.
because he was. I mean, I'm not saying it because he's a Pittsburgh guy, but man, he's pretty clutch for them last year.
Actually, I would have liked the Pirates to bring back Neil Walker. I feel like he has a lot of leadership that team needed last year, missed last year. Walker's with Milwaukee now.
Oh yeah, okay.
He's a Brewer.
That's right.
So we'll see a lot of Pittsburgh Neil this year.
Oh goody.
Oh goody.
We don't have exactly the best track record in Pittsburgh from players coming back and treating us nicely. They usually come back and clean our clocks. So I can live without seeing Neil Walker, and I'm not looking forward to seeing Kutch, back in Pittsburgh, because they'll just. I feel like Kutch is going to hit a shot to not like the actual moon, but to Moon, Pennsylvania, off of some of the garbage pitching that he's going to be facing, in Pirates uniform. So, okay, so the AL East, anybody you'd want to, or I'm sorry, NL East, anybody you'd want to change. Obviously we both think very highly of the Marlins in the cellar, 62 wins and 100 losses. The Phillies and the Braves are going to be interesting stories. Phillies, that's a dumpster fire over there. But they're still saying they're going to be 7 games better than they were. The Braves are still a few years, I think, away, because they've been collecting some pieces along the way. But I think the Mets can make a run. I really do. If they stay healthy, I think they take a few wins away from the Nationals. I think the Nationals end up where they were last year. 95, 96 win team, something like that. And the Mets are a little bit better. Maybe they might. I think they flip it. I think you go 82-80 for the Mets, just so they're a winning team. But we'll see.
It's just going to be hard for these teams to overcome it. I mean, if you think about this, like in the East, we're both going with the Nationals. They were 20 games better than the Marlins last year.
Yeah.
And who was second? Then you got the West, you got the Astros. They were 21 games better than the Angels last year. Indians, they were 17 games better than the Twins. And then last year, of course, Boston won the East with 93 wins. Yankees were two behind, but we know what the Yankees did in the offseason, so it's going to be interesting to see if they can top that division. But barring injury, it's always injury. I don't see any way that it's not the Yankees, the Indians, and the Astros in the American League, and then we're at the Washington Nationals in the National League East. So,
yep. All right, here is the most. This is the one I'm not looking forward to, but the NL Central. The most competitive, it says, division in baseball. So you got the Cubs projected to win with 93 wins, 69 losses. That's a 1-game increase, 1-win increase from last year. The Cardinals picked to finish second, 87 and 75. And then you have the Brewers at 85 and 77. The Cincinnati Reds at 73 and 89. And the Pittsburgh Pirates in the basement once again, 69 and 93. That's a 6-game slide from last year. Thumbs up, thumbs down, or which pieces would you switch?
I do like the Cubs on the top of that, but I'm not going to put the Pirates in the basement. I can't do that.
Reds?
I'd say the Reds still would be in the basement for sure.
This article kind of pins it and says, picking the Reds to finish 4th in the division might come as a bit of a surprise, but it speaks more to how far the Pirates have fallen. And I think while I'm not going to pick the Pirates to finish last, I do believe that I have some optimism. And I go back and forth on this. If I listen to 93.7 The Fan and their Pirate updates, I get excited. But I think I'm more just excited for baseball, and my love of the Pirates kind of shines through that. And I have that optimism that, opening day, everybody's got a chance. But then you start thinking about, oh man, we still have to play the Cubs. We still got to play the Cards. We still have to play the Brewers. And for some reason, ungodly reason, we cannot win against the Reds. So then I look at this and I think, maybe they're onto something. Maybe they're right, because if we can't beat anybody in our division, and we can only beat like the AL West teams, beat up on the Braves, beat up on the on the Marlins, that we might not end up. We might be a 100-loss team. We might be in that situation. But then you hear stories about JMO, Jameson Taillon being a leader, Josh Bell being a leader, and it gives me hope. So I say the Pirates finish in 4th place, the Reds finish in 5th. But here's my thing. I think the Cardinals win the division.
Wow.
Because the Cubs are not the team they were 2 years ago when they won the World Series. I think they got content. I think they're still content. I think the city's content. And I think St. Louis is one of those cities where it's baseball town USA. There's an expectation. If you heard David Freese talk in the Pirates locker room the other day, he was made fun of because they said that he's a drone of what St. Louis Cardinals players are. He's an absolute cyborg. So it's all about winning. It's all about, and that's the mentality that you should want to have. And that's the mentality that the Cardinals have. If you're losing to your arch rival, you should not be laughing and giggling in the dugout. And that's, you look at, and trust me, I'm one of those guys where I love whenever I guess it's AT&T Pittsburgh shows, Andrew McCutchen and Josh Harrison dancing in the dugout. What pisses me off is they're down by 5. You know what I mean? In the 7th inning. And come on, I realize it's a 162-game schedule, but your fans are just absolutely ripped up to shreds because you're losing to the Cubs or the Cardinals or the Brewers by 5 runs, and you're in there dancing with your bubble gum and all that, your sunflower seeds and stuff like that. Like, it's fun, but it's not. You're getting paid to do a job, and you're not doing that job so well. So don't be dancing. Nobody's dancing. When sales are bad at your job, nobody's dancing whenever there's a bad situation. You've had a bad day. Like, come on. So if you haven't heard. Yeah,
Darvish added to Chicago, and Arrieta, of course, who is still a free agent, which just boggles my mind. But
how is that, by the way?
I don't know. Well, maybe he wants too much money. I don't know.
Get him nutting.
Yeah, right. Dream on. Arrieta won 14 games last year, so
all the ski passes he can handle.
Yeah, right. Free skiing at
Seven
Springs. Yeah, but the Cardinals could definitely take that division. That right now, everything we've reviewed, that's the only one that I see that could be in question. And they said themselves it's the most competitive division in baseball. So I could see the Cubs, the Brewers, or the Cardinals winning the NL Central.
And I'm not saying this because I actually like the Cubs. I enjoy the what the Cubs, who the Cubs are, what they stand for. But I can see the Cubs being a 3rd place team.
Yeah, I could see any of those 3 being a 3rd place team, but I also could see any of those 3 winning that division.
Yeah, it's one of those, you just never know. You're not going to know, but all those 3 are going to be battling all year long, and it's going to be between those 3, and that's what stinks because, we talked about it before. The Pirates' window was so short, and we thought it was so much more open. We thought we had an extra couple of years to deal with, and I think everybody felt like they had an extra couple of years of winning potential. And the Cubs get really good. The Cardinals are really good. The Brewers get good. Come on, man. Can't we just have a Henry Rowengartner come out of nowhere and once in our life and surprise somebody? But no,
I love that movie.
I do too. I'm a big fan. All right, the NL West, where the West was won. Los Angeles Dodgers, 99-63 projection. That's a 5-game slide from last year. Here is my number one head scratcher. You ready for this one?
I'm ready.
The Colorado Rockies are projected for 91 wins. Wow.
Yeah.
The Diamondbacks follow that with 89 wins. Then the San Francisco Giants. And then the San Diego Padres. 65 wins projected for the Padres, 80 wins projected for the Giants. 89 wins for the Diamondbacks, 91 wins for the Rockies, and then 99 wins for the LA Dodgers. Pick it apart. Let's go over it.
Well, I mean, the Dodgers, of course, they'll be there. There's no doubt about that. But the Rockies is surprising. Wonder what the driving force behind the Rocky 90 win projection is. I'm trying to figure that out right now.
They're just saying that they were in the wild card last year, with the Diamondbacks, and it could be a close race to see who gets to host that game. Basically, they're saying those two teams are going to be back in the wild card this year. I think there's a couple other teams in the National League that would have something to say about that.
Yeah, I don't see that. I don't see that coming into play again. The Rockies. I mean, who's their number? Who would you say the Rockies' best player is?
Nolan Arenado.
Nolan Arenado.
Yeah, but I mean, Trevor Story's. I mean, he had that unbelievable breakout season, his rookie year, where did he break? No, he didn't break the home run record, but seemingly every other at bat, the guy was hitting a bomb. But Arenado, I think Arenado is one of the best players in baseball.
Yeah, he's definitely up there.
But
Trevor Story kind of fell off the map last year, though, didn't he?
He did. Yeah. I think the second year, the sophomore slump kind of hit him. But I don't know if they're just looking for a bounce back or what they're looking. I have no idea. But I mean, the Dodgers get stronger. They
lost. They did lose Darvish.
They did lose Darvish, but they get a bounce back season from Logan Forsythe, and it says right here they could give them the deepest lineup in the NL. It'll be interesting.
Nolan Arenado is quietly just an absolute beast, ain't he?
Oh yeah.
42 home runs in 15, 41 home runs in 16, 37 home runs in 17. He stole, let's see here. That's strikeouts, never mind. He don't steal bases. Not very good. But he still batted .309 last year. 130 RBIs, 133 RBIs in 16, 130 RBIs in 15. I mean, this kid's a stud.
And one of the best defensive players in baseball.
Right.
I mean, he's amazing. And if he's not on the Rockies, he's the face of the major leagues. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I mean, if that guy is on the Red Sox or the Yankees or pretty much anywhere but Tampa, I mean, that's what you're looking at. And even in Pittsburgh here, we proved that a Pirate can be the face of the major leagues. Kutch held that for a couple years. So it's going to be interesting. All right, so here's the next question. We went through all these. The NL West, there's not a whole lot besides the Rockies. I see the Giants being better projected from the Yoakley reports.
They have to be. They have to be.
Yeah, I realize that Longoria isn't the player that he used to be. I realize that Kutch isn't the player that he used to be. But if you saw, and I know it was just a glimpse, but if you saw the home run that he hit off Mad Bum yesterday, he absolutely jump jacked that thing. I mean, that thing's still going. And I think that everybody that said that Andrew McCutchen could use a change of scenery to respark his career was absolutely right. And I think he's got exactly what he needs. He's got a ballpark that is very similar to PNC. He's got, he's in right field. He doesn't have to worry about anybody calling out, being the greatest center fielder of all time. You got Austin Jackson in center field. You got Pence in left field. So it really boils down to Kutch just focusing on being Kutch and being one of the best players in baseball. And I think he could do that. And I also think he's got the rotation to help him out. It's not a patchwork rotation that the Pirates, he's had to deal with the Pirates for the last 3 to 5 years. It's going to be interesting. And I think the Giants can make a run for the wild card. And if that's the case, win the wild card, play the Dodgers or play another team, the Nationals or some team like that, and roll the dice, because Mad Bum in a 5-game series, you're going to see him twice. And then in a 7-game series, you're going to see him probably three times, possibly. So, I mean, Mad Bum is still, to me, one of the best pitchers in baseball. Nobody's figured him out. And not only that, but the dude can rake. He hits bombs like a starting third baseman. So
It'll be interesting. It'll definitely be interesting.
it's gonna be exciting.
I like a fresh start for McCutchen in San Francisco. I do think he'll have a big year, which will dishearten a lot of Pirates fans when he has a huge year.
You're going to hear it. It's going to be, he could have been in Pittsburgh. This could have been us. And no, sorry. He was not happy here. I don't think my heart of hearts says he was not happy one iota. So we'll have to see. But that's the
time will tell, right? Ain't that the old time will tell?
Oh yeah, time's going to tell real quick. Because I think that's man, the Pirates, if they have any chance, they got to get out of the chutes quick, and looking at their schedule, it doesn't look good. It's one of those things where let's take a game. I was looking at it last night, and it's going to be rough. Their schedule is not built for the team that they have in place. Unless a lot of teams mature really, a lot of this team matures very quickly. So let's take a look at their.
It's all going to depend on how they start.
That's what I'm saying. And it's got to be,
it's
what is their first games are against, is it the Twins? I've got them on, is it Monday the 2nd, it looks like? Yeah. So you got the Twins for the home opener. Then you get the Reds. And then you go to Chicago.
Oh, man.
So let's analyze this real quick, because we're not going to be able to get to our heavy bag today and talk about some of the stuff. So we'll move that to tomorrow. But Twins at home, Reds at home, at Chicago. Then you travel to Miami. Then you come back home, play the Rockies, who are supposed to win second place in the NL West. Then you play at Philadelphia, home against Detroit, and you finish the month out with the Cardinals and the Nationals. So you could potentially start out pretty quick.
You could start 2-0, and then if they go into Chicago and they knock off the Cubs, by that time probably get the third guy in their rotation. Think about it. I mean, they could start okay, and if they get some confidence underneath them early, and the pitching's average, it could be all right. But it could also go the other way. They could lose the first two, go to Chicago, get blown out, and then the wheels will fall off early. But it's all going to depend on how they start.
Yep, and I think for me, the Twins playing in Pittsburgh. I mean, it is what it is, right? They're all baseball players. They're all going from Florida or Arizona to Pittsburgh. So, but the real matchup to me, the highlight is going to be the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday series against the Reds. And if you don't split with the Reds during that series, trouble is coming. Yeah, right. Trouble is coming, because you've got your ace going on Sunday, which is either going to be Tyone or Nova. And then you got your 2, 3, and 4 guys going on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday against the Cubs. You know the problem with that, Tommy?
What's that?
You got to go against their 2, 3, and 4 guys too.
Yeah, Darvish.
I mean, it's going to be, they got to win 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out of the first 6 games, they've got to win. They've got to go 4-2 in that opening stretch. At least.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree.
If you lose all the games, let's say you get swept by the Cubs, if you're 4-2, then you're, 4-5. So, and then you go against the Marlins, you can make up 3 there. So I mean, it's this schedule is going to be a roller coaster, at least through April. And I think that Pirates fans just got to hold on. But there's going to be some early tells, because we do have the youth. we do have a little bit of a little spring in our step, and when we get to the 27th, 28th, and 29th against St. Louis, we got to win. I mean, we got to at least compete. We can't get blown out of the water, and those games are at home, so it's going to be interesting.
It'll definitely be an interesting year for the Buccos.
Yep. Anything? Any final thoughts on today? I mean, you want to put a wrap on the MLB?
No, I haven't really dug too much into MLB. I mean, of course I follow it all the way through the year once we get into the regular season. But for me, I'm just still in basketball mode. Everything's basketball for me right now.
Really?
March Madness is on the horizon. We got high school playoffs. We got NBA heating up. Just love basketball, man.
It's all coming up hoops.
It's a hoop world right now for me. But in no time at all, it'll be MLB season in full force, and that'll be a lot to talk about then for sure.
Yesterday got me fired up for Major League Baseball. I can't even hide it. It was beautiful outside. I was ready to go. If my wife wasn't working, I would have said, "Hey, let's go outside and throw the ball around a little bit." She loves it. We have a natural slant on our property, and she likes going out and slinging the ball.
Firing it downhill at you.
She's a lefty, so we're hoping
sign her up.
Yeah, we're hoping the little babies follow, and there's some extra money on the first signing deal as a lefty.
Little Yoke the lefty coming soon, huh?
The problem is they're not going to be much taller than 5 feet. So
well, the good news is if he's a baseball player, height don't matter.
It's a small strike zone.
That's right.
So. Dude, thank you very much. Another good show. Obviously, very baseball heavy. Tomorrow, we're going to get into team sports versus individual sports a little bit. Talk about that with heavy on the minds with the Olympics, with some golf cranking up, some NASCAR. So we're going to talk about the advantages to both and maybe some disadvantages to both as well.
Hey, and don't forget, we'll have some girls playoff scores for you.
Oh,
hopefully
yeah.
some of our area teams can come through tonight and make it happen. Good luck to the East Liverpool Potter girls. They traveled to Maysville for the sectional game today, so good luck to them. Good luck to the Lisbon Blue Devils, Izzy Perez, family friend. Good luck tonight. So, yeah, we'll have some girls action for you tomorrow.
Good luck to all teams here locally that are taking parts, and just stay humble, stay healthy, go get it. Make your run. This is your time to shine. So you've worked all season for it. Go get it. That's all I can say.
Carpe diem.
Seize the day.
That's right.
We need. I was talking to Squeaks a little bit about getting him some music, some theme music rolling in. I think
like an intro, yeah.
Because I think
I like it,
and I think he digs. I mean, he's talked Spanish for like 30 seconds yesterday.
I heard him.
Straight Spanish.
He's funny. Yeah, we definitely could get some intro music.
See if we could take care of that. We need some intro music for us. We need to step.
Oh, yeah.
I need to step our game up a little bit here.
You know me. It's real American all day for me. So
that's right, baby.
Yeah. I love the Hulkster.
Yokomania. I got Yokomania shirts.
Do you really?
Oh, I do.
Oh man. I'm jealous. I need a Yokomania shirt.
Play your cards right. I'll make sure you get one.
Are they red and yellow?
They are red and yellow.
Oh, dude.
Oh, it's.
I gotta get one of those. I have all the Hulkamania shirts in my wardrobe. They're there.
We gotta get breakfast. Burrito Mania. That's what we need. Burrito
Mania.
I'll see. We're working on a store on YSN. I don't know if you knew that, but
I did not. No.
We're gonna be kicking up our game on YSN a little bit, and we'll have some T-shirts, some hats, some sweatshirts, and stuff like that, where it's going to be YSN affiliated with schools and things of that nature. You'll be able to go in and buy your favorite school or your favorite announcer, stuff like that. Stuff that's kind of hype. So we're excited to kick that off. That's around the corner.
As we approach football season next year and then into basketball season next year, maybe like YSN players of the game with YSN T-shirts, and we could just go big, man.
We're going to have like players with their own kind of line. You know what I mean? It's gonna be so like for if you're looking at this year, looking back, it's going to be similar to like Peyton Remish would have his own, like the Ram, being able to do that. And the proceeds, will go to a charity of their choice or back to the school or something like that. So working on the dotting the I's and crossing the T's. But we definitely want to do something that's very cool for the kids, gives them a chance to give back, but it also promotes the school and promotes the players. So we're excited to do that, and we're excited about all the stuff that's going on at YSN here. We got some big news coming out yesterday with the wrestling, the Quaker City Wrestling, and then coming out hopefully today, fingers crossed tonight, about some other stuff. So keep your fingers crossed and keep tuning into the Breakfast Burrito here on Your Sports Network, on our YouTube channel, and then certainly keep your eyes peeled tonight for some basketball, and then as we head into the weekend, some more on the way. So for Mr. Thomas Pease, I am DJ Yoakley. This is a wrap on the Breakfast Burrito for, episode 17. That's in the books, man. Episode 18 coming up tomorrow. Happy Wednesday to you. It's a great day.
Make it yours.
Atta boy.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.